Okay, so welcome back everybody, and welcome to BS2PCG Deck Workshop. Okay, for today we're going to try to demonstrate to you a particular deck that has been of some use in several tournaments here in the Philippines. And actually it was featured in one of the Fight Night. Actually it's a Fight Night 4 Philippine edition, courtesy of Build Face USA. And this particular deck is of course Nick Fury's Quake machine. Okay, so let's try to get this, open up this deck box. Okay, so in particular, Quake machine uses this particular MC, which is Nick Fury. So we'll try to zoom that up first. Okay, so Nick Fury is 2-5 with 5 health and range. His first superpower is Undercover Mission. So during the main phase, you can pay 1 red power symbol, and you can hide a ready supporting character on your side. So this particular superpower is very crucial when it comes to the combo of this deck, which we'll try to explore a little bit later. Okay, so this level up requirement is 6. Keep vigilant. So at the end of your turn, Nick Fury gains 1 XP for each ready character on your side. So it's like kind of like a waiting game, okay? Wherein you have to wait, and of course during the early turns of the game, you try to avoid attacking with your characters so you can have ready characters by the end of your turn, and of course Nick Fury will gain XP from them. Now, when he becomes level 2, he then becomes 6-6, still with range and 5 health, and this time he gains his second superpower, which I really like. It's called the Infinity Formula. So during the main phase, you can pay 1 blue power symbol, and Nick Fury can't be wounded for the rest of the game. So wow, very powerful superpower. And actually here in the Philippines, we are very fond of calling the superpower the glutathione or gluta. Okay, you have to pay blue so that Nick Fury can gain gluta, and at the same time, okay, he cannot be wounded. Okay, so he can be attacked, can get stunned, but he doesn't get wounded. But mind you, okay, this superpower comes with a setback. So at the end of each turn, okay, if you don't use this power that turn, then KO Nick Fury. So you really have to have a stable number of blue locations available at your disposal once you activate this superpower. Okay. Okay, so we can place it here. Now we're going to go to the rest of the deck. Of course, we start with your 1-drops. Okay, the first of your 1-drop, you have 4 Wasp. Okay, for Wasp, she's an A-Force supporting character, and she's 1-drop with 1-2 stats, with 1 health and flight. Okay, her first keyword power is Sting. So when Wasp appears, put a -1/-1 counter on an enemy character. So she's very good to try to lower down the attack capability of her opponent during the first and early turns. And she also has Shrink. So when Wasp get attacked the first time each turn, you may cancel the combat. So normally once you use Wasp, it's normally like you put Nick Fury at the back row, and you also put Wasp in the front row so that you can have 2 ready characters outright, and at the same time she can try to avoid at least 2 set of attacks before you can get to Nick Fury. So the first one is from the Shrink, then the second one to hit her, and of course if you have any defensive plot ways, you can make her survive so that you can use the Shrink again during the next turn. Okay. So you can try to place it here. Okay, then you have another set of 1-drop, which is Captain Swing. Captain Swain is from the Inhumans. She is a 1/1 character with 1 health. Her first keyword power is Terrigenesis. So when Swain appears, you may exhaust her, and if you do, put 2+1/+1 counters on her. So it's like placing her. Once she comes into play, you just have to put her sideways, then she gains an additional +2/+2 counter, so that is for a total of 3 attack and defense. But what is really important with Captain Swain is of course her second keyword power, which is Telepathic Nudge. So when Swain appears, choose a superpower on a supporting character. It costs 1 power symbol less to use that power the next time this turn. So she's very important. So later on, if you tend to lose out on your locations, she can be used to power up Avalanche superpower to effect the combo. That's basically it. And the next, going to the 2-drop range, is of course the star of the show for Avalanche. Avalanche is a 2/4 Brotherhood supporting character, and he has range and 1 health. And what is very important with this particular supporting character is of course his superpower, Sustain Seismic Waves. During the main phase, you may now pay a red power symbol, and this power has a different effect depending on how many times you have used it. Okay, for this particular character, use it the first time, turn an enemy location face down. On the second use, you can KO an enemy face down resource. On the third use, you can KO an enemy location. And on the fourth and succeeding use, you can KO each enemy resource. So that means to totally wipe out the resource of your opponent. Okay, so you have 4 copies of Avalanche here, just because this is where the engine of Quake machine will try to go. Going further, we also have 2 copies of Scarlet Witch. We have included Scarlet Witch here. She's a 2-drop defender supporting character with 1/5 stats, range, and 1 health. And she's her super keyword power is Hex. So enemy characters can't level up. They can still gain XP, but they cannot level up. So we have included Scarlet Witch here just because of that Hex power, which tries to fend off those early leveling main characters, most especially from the newer expansions. And also, we need a defender to be able for us to play some of the plot twists in the deck, like Super Senses, which is a staple, one of the most powerful defensive plot twists in the arsenal of BS2 PCG. So we have 2 copies of Scarlet Witch. And going to the 3rd drop range, we have 4 copies of Lambert. Okay, so Lambert is very good. Why? Because he is a 5/4, so very big for a 3-drop. He has range and 1 health. And his keyword power comes to 4 with no autographs. So Lambert has every good team affiliation. So that means all 18 good team affiliations are checked when you put Lambert into play. So when this happens, you can play any plot twist that is good aligned. For example, you can play a Build a Better World, you can play a Strategic Homeland Intervention, and you can even play Super Senses just because you have Lambert in play. Now in that case also, Lambert has quick draw, so while Lambert is range attacking, he can be struck back. So normally, you can also use Lambert to partner up with a level 2 Nick Fury, because since Lambert has every good team affiliation, he is also considered a shield character. So you can team attack Nick Fury and Lambert together. So normally the 11 attack level can normally stun most characters in the game. Okay, so he's a very good character and one of my favorite for the praise. Another prey character is used in this deck, okay, for the 4-drop range, and that is Keys. So Peace is a 4/6 with 1 health, and 2 weeks to learn his patterns is his first keyword power. So when Peace appears, choose a character on your side. That character can use any power symbols to pay for his next superpower this turn. So Peace is very important also in this deck because you can use Peace to actually make the superpower of Avalanche generic. Okay, so you can pay any power symbol for him. So you can pay a yellow, a blue, or even a wild location so that you can use it to activate Avalanche sustains seismic waves. And also Peace has a second has a superpower of his own, and this is liquid nitrogen cannon or liquid nitrogen cannon, which is similar or what I've seen in the movies. So during the main phase, you may pay 1 yellow power symbol to freeze an enemy character. So good to stall those very aggressive opponents deck. Okay. Next, actually we skip the 5th drop and go straight towards the 6th drop. And for the 6th drop range, we have Iron Man. So Iron Man is a 5/7 Avenger with flight and range and 1 health. And this particular keyword power is inventive. And inventive, which means when he appears, you may turn one of your face down locations face up. So very important also for you to keep sustaining Avalanche, sustain seismic waves, and Nick Fury with his infinity formula, just because you are able to flip back those needed locations. And second to the last is our 7th drop, and this is where we put the heavy hitters in the deck, and we have Hyperion. So Hyperion is an Avenger with a 10 attack and 10 defense with flight and range and 1 health. He is important to this deck because he is an Eternal. So if Hyperion would play, you may put him into his owner's hand instead. So very, very difficult for your opponent to get rid of. But just like with any Eternal, he has a weakness. So he's reliant on super solar energy. So when Hyperion enters combat, an enemy main character on that side may pay any blue power symbol. And if they do, Hyperion loses and can't gain Eternal. So this is one way for you to rid, or one way for anybody to rid any board of any Hyperion. You just have to pay 1 power symbol. And of course, the biggest dude in the deck are 2 copies of Gilgamesh. So one of my favorite cards in the game. So Gilgamesh is an 8 drop 16/16. He's a whopping 16/16 with flight. And just like with Hyperion, he's also an Eternal. So if Gilgamesh would play, you may put him into his owner's hand instead. And just like with any Eternal, Eternal can be removed. With this, Gilgamesh has the Forgotten One. So at the end of your turn, if you don't say Gilgamesh this turn, he loses and can't gain Eternal. But then that's a very slight setback for that very big 16/16 attack defense. Okay? So again, don't forget Gilgamesh. Okay, so that rounds up most of our supporting characters for this particular deck. Okay, so again, let's recap. We have Was, we have Captain Swain, we have, of course, we have Avalanche, Scarlet Witch, Lambert, Peace. We also have Iron Man. We also have Hyperion and Gilgamesh. So more or less around 26 characters only for this particular deck. So let's go to the plot twist. Okay? So our particular deck, here's several plot twists with it. So of course, first on the list is Strategic Homeland Intervention. Okay, so strategic homeland intervention is the only plot twist for Shield team, and it says here that during any combat, choose a defender in the combat to get a +2/+2 to this combat. If it readies, if it is ready, it gets +4/+4 instead. So it's a very good bump for your defensive character, most especially during the early turns with WAS, or maybe during the mid game to protect your avalanche from being stunned and being KO'd. Okay. So let's place it here. And of course, we have 4 copies of what I told you a while ago. 4 copies of Super Senses. So Super Senses is one of the more powerful defensive plot twists in the game. So it's a defender plot twist. So any combat, choose a defending character to get +0/+5 this combat. So you are able to play the Super Senses because of course you have Scarlet Witch in your deck, and of course Lambert with his no auto space. So this particular character can play any plot twist from a good aligned team. Okay, so that's basically. And you also carry 4 copies of Build a Better World. Now it's important for you to have Build a Better World in the deck because of course you get to use a lot of flipping down of locations, and in this particular deck it's very important for you to always have a red, so you can bring back the red location for your avalanche, or maybe even to bring back a blue once you are able to activate the Infinity Formula. So there's a total around 4 chances for you to be able to activate again those important superpowers. Okay. So next, the last set of plot twist is a new addition to the version 3 of Quake machine, and it's the Global Information Network. So during your build phase, your main character may pay a yellow power symbol. If it does, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put one in your hand and the rest on the bottom of the deck. So we have added this because before, most especially during Fight Night 4, there has been one round wherein we were not really able to pull off any avalanche at all. So the deck just went aggressive against Kingpin. So we have added Global Information Network because it's very important that if you are not able to mulligan an avalanche during your first round, then at least you may get a chance to scry at least 5 cards at the top of your deck, and put one in your hand during the build phase, and hopefully on the second or third turn you are able to pull off an avalanche. Okay, so Global Information Network is very important for this deck. Okay, so let's just put it here, and of course our locations. Let's try to go over them quickly. We have 4 copies of Training Ground. Most use, of course, for Avalanche Superpower and for Nick Fury's Undercover Mission Superpower. Okay, and we also have 4 copies of Laboratory, and this is mostly used for Nick Fury's Infinity Formula, and you can also use it later on when you are able to drop keys in the mid game, so that you're able to convert this to a generic power symbol to pay for Avalanche Superpower or Nick Fury's Superpower. We have added 2 copies of an Academy. Just most especially it's important because you have to use this for your Global Information Network, and we have to just add 2 because it's really used for that particular plot twist. To score your top decks for those sets of Avalanche. Okay? And of course we have 4 copies of Asteroid M, and Asteroid M is mostly used for Avalanche sustained sites with waves. And finally, we have 4 copies of Helicarrier. And most especially, this is used for Nick Fury because you have to hide Avalanche during most of the game. And you can also use the Helicarrier in order for you to be able to use the Infinity Formula once you're able or was able to activate it during the game to avoid being KO'd and losing the game. Okay, so normally how does this deck work? Of course, you have Nick Fury around. Then to explain it a little bit further, you have Was mostly and during your first turn. Then you can drop Was in front of Nick Fury so that you are able to protect him from those early attacks. Not so much on Captain Swain. Captain Swain is mostly later on in the game, but you have to mulligan for an Avalanche. Okay, so Avalanche is the key card in the game in this deck. And normally, when you already have, let's say, 1 red and 1 blue, you can use the red one to actually, power up Avalanche, then use Helicarrier to hide Avalanche so that you can avoid him from being stabbed or from being attacked and getting stunned, and of course from being some other effects that are normally can be done to this to supporting characters once they are face up on the board. Good thing about this is you have several combinations for those locations, so you can use the Asteroid M in order for you to use it on Avalanche sustained seismic waves, and at the same time you can use the Training Ground to hide Avalanche. If not, then you can use the Asteroid M in combination with the Helicarrier, Asteroid M for the sustained seismic waves, and Helicarrier to hide Avalanche. Or if not, you can also use Asteroid M, okay, or the other way around, you can use Training Ground to use it on Avalanche Superpower and Helicarrier to hide. If not, you can use Captain Swain just like this. Okay, so normally done on the third turn. You can use Captain Swain to power up Avalanche. Then you can use the red to hide Avalanche. Okay, so for him to avoid being KO. Okay, you can also use Peace in that particular set. So Peace now can be used to power up Avalanche using any power symbol. Let's say yellow can be used. Once you drop Peace, you have Avalanche in play. Then you can use the Academy to power up the sustained seismic waves. Then you can also use again another location like Helicarrier to hide Avalanche. So then normally this deck can affect the total land resource destruction at around 4th turn, or latest is 5th or 6th turn. So enough for you to be able to destroy your opponent's resources even before they can drop their 7th, 8th, or 9th drop heavy hitters. Like normally they would be able to drop those Gilgamesh, those Fin Fang Foom, or even those Dark Phoenix. Okay, so that's it, everyone. So I hope that we are able to share with you a good insight in this particular deck, and we hope to be able to present to you another new deck by next week. So, and once again, we'd like to thank the Build Face USA and the Build Face Collective, most especially to Mr. Benjamin Brosin and Mr. Joe Vitelli. And we'd also like to thank Fort Sabi Place, Mr. Jed Vitario and Mr. Ovi Kura for of course supporting our weekly events. And just like to take the opportunity to invite everybody to our weekly VS2PCG tournament being held at Fort Sabi Place every Sunday. That's starting 3 o'clock p.m. going towards the evening. And great prizes await those who are able to win most especially in the top 4 spots. Okay, so normally we give out infinity shards, which are convertible to pesos, and of course we also award deck boxes, expansion boxes to the champion. Okay, so once again, thank you everyone for watching, and hope you get to subscribe to our channel. And happy shopping, guys, and see you next week.